Minister Vimal Veeravansa says that the police and security units cannot prevent the creation of the underworld. He made this statement at an event in Anuradhapura this morning.
Minister Vimal Veeravansa laid the foundation stone for a middle-class housing scheme which is to be constructed in the Tiripane area in the Anuradhapura district. The police and security units in this country can control the underworld that is there, but they cannot prevent the creation of the underworld. The police are trying to control the underworld which is created by poverty. If a person has economic stability, if they have a house to live in, if they live in a proper community, then there is a lesser chance of criminals being created.
Former Army Commander Sarat Fonseca was brought to a private hospital in Colombo for physiotherapy treatment once again today.
Although we pray to Lord Buddha, we do not have that many spiritual people in this country. That is only the clergy. Instead, we have the President, the Judge, Siripala and Kamalavati. This is the kind of country that we will have.
We now go in for a short commercial break.
Stay connected, stay with News First. We will be right back.
Welcome back.
The Mount Lavinia Civil High Court has ordered both parties in the case filed by UNP Provincial Councillor Maitri Gunaratne stating that the UNP constitution was violated during the election of office bearers to the UNP to file written submissions by the 30th of this month. The case was taken up before a bench comprising of judges Rohini Walgama and NTB Dehidenia today.
Maitri Gunaratne first filed the case in the Nugegoda District Court. He petitioned court that the party leadership had elected office bearers to the party by violating the new constitution. Court issued notice on a group including party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe to make submissions in relation to the case. This group, including Ranil Wickremesinghe, then appealed to the Mount Lavinia Civil High Court against the order issued by the Nugegoda District Court. Accordingly, the Mount Lavinia Civil High Court suspended the order issued by the District Court. When the case was taken up for consideration today, lawyers appearing on behalf of Ranil Wickremesinghe said that there is no need for a court case since the election of office bearers has been completed. However, lawyers appearing for Maitri Gunaratne argued that the case must be heard.
Ranil Wickremesinghe මැතිතුමා විසින් අලුත් ව්‍යවස්ථාව සම්පාදනය කරලා ආවට පස්සේ
The first decision Ranil Wickremesinghe took after he compiled the new constitution was to violate the constitution when appointing the national organizer. Because the national organizer was appointed according to his whims and fancies, he tilted the advisory committee to his side through the party constitution. Therefore, what happened when the working committee was appointed in an illegal manner? That working committee appointed Ranil Wickremesinghe as the leader. We pointed out to court that every decision taken so far was illegal.
නීති විරෝධී කියන එක අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේදී අධිකරණයට පෙන්වා සිටියා.
Parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa says that the responsibility vested in him after being elected as the deputy leader of the United National Party is to build unity within the party. The parliamentarian expressed this view while attending a function in Colombo today.
අද මම ඡන්ද බලෙන් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නියෝජ්‍ය නායකවරයා හැටියට පත් වුණා.
I was elected as the deputy leader of the United National Party. Therefore, I have a responsibility. Don't forget that I was elected as the deputy leader because I have a responsibility to build peace within the party, to put an end to the factions and groups within the party, and stop the party from being divided. I am nobody's slave or pawn. I will not bow down to anyone. I am not a henchman to anybody. If someone thinks that I can be made his henchman, please remember that my name is Premadasa.
මං කාගේවත් අතකොළුවෙක් වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. එහෙම කවුරු හරි හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා නම් මාව අතකොළුවෙක් කරගන්නට මං ඒ අයට කියනවා කරුණා කරලා මගේ නම ප්‍රේමදාසයි කියලා අමතක කරන්න එපා.
Sajid Premadasa made a financial donation towards the future activities of the Azawiyahul Khairiyatul Fazia Mosque at Union Place in Colombo as part of the Masjidul Pudu Oli program. On several occasions over the past year, reports have been received of unqualified persons being appointed as principals of schools and of unqualified persons failing to hand over duties to qualified persons who were appointed in the proper manner. On some occasions, those who were aggrieved by the inaction of education officials sought legal assistance. The reason for incidents like this to occur time and time again, denigrating the importance of education, is the failure of the qualified persons to act in accordance with administrative principles. Even though the Maha Kengolla Primary School in the Wattegama Education Zone offers classes from Year 1 to Year 5, the Central Province Education Authorities have appointed as principal a Grade 1 principal from the Sri Lanka Principal Service. This appointment was made when secondary schools in the province which required a Grade 1 principal are facing a shortage of such principals. Notwithstanding this, Central Province authorities have also appointed a Grade 1 principal from the Principal Service as deputy principal of this school. Although on several occasions over the past year, the Provincial Education Department attempted to transfer this deputy principal to a secondary school in accordance with her qualifications, these transfers were not carried out due to the intervention of local politicians. With the Grade 1 principal of this school retiring a month ago, the duties of the position of principal have fallen on the aforementioned deputy principal, who is also a Grade 1 official. Subsequently, in October last year, notices were published in the newspapers for interviews to find a suitable person for the post of principal. I was present for the interview and subsequently the Honourable Provincial Educational Secretary gave me the letter of appointment. The person who was selected for the position following an interview is a Grade 2 Class 1 official from the Sri Lanka Principal Service. This official, who was the deputy principal of the school at the time of the interview, has the necessary qualifications to hold the position of principal. However, this appointment letter, which was issued to him by the Provincial Education Secretary upon considering his qualification, has become a useless piece of paper due to political interference. When I came to take over the duties, the deputy principal who is currently holding that office rejected it. So I am saying that this is not a suitable measure given that there needs to be good governance in state service. When a person acts on the basis that the grading carries more power than the decisions of the Provincial Department of Education, then why does that department shy away from reining in that person? Central Province Secretary of Education, over to you.
The British High Commission in Colombo states that the body of Khurram Sheikh, the British national who was brutally murdered in Tangol on Christmas Day, has been repatriated to the United Kingdom for a family funeral. The victim's brother Nasir Sheikh arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday to oversee the repatriation of his brother's body and to seek information directly from the Sri Lankan authorities about the circumstances that led to the tragic death.
Issuing a communique, the British High Commission said that Nasir Sheikh, accompanied by Assistant High Commissioner Robbie Bullock, met the Director of the Criminal Investigations Department this afternoon to inquire into the progress in bringing those responsible for the murder before the law. The Director of the CID had given a personal assurance that everything was being done to successfully prosecute those involved. Following the meeting, Sheikh thanked all those involved in the investigation of his brother's murder and those who had assisted with the repatriation. Nasir Sheikh also stated that for the sake of his brother, he and his family hopes that the investigation can now be brought to a swift conclusion.
An Australian entrepreneur of Sri Lankan origin, Bertram Eknayaka, says that Sri Lanka is heading in the right direction in terms of developing infrastructure facilities. He pointed out that Sri Lanka has a lot of growth potential in the post-war era. He made this comment to News First during a brief stay in the island.
Well, I migrated to Melbourne in 1970 and I started working with a plastics company, one of the biggest plastic companies in Melbourne and Australia, called Nilex Corporation, where my first job was actually sweeping the floors. And from there onwards I moved up the ladder, learned the production side of the business, and finally, you know, I managed to break away from there and start my own. I think that Sri Lanka has a good opportunity to grow, and it is growing. I can see a lot of roads being developed, and therefore, with the infrastructure that's coming in, naturally, you know, things are going to boom and creating a lot of jobs, and for the betterment of the country. Unfortunately, it's taken a long time to do that, but I can see things are moving very fast here at the moment. You need good roads, right? Good buildings, and also being able to move stuff fairly quickly, especially if we're going to move from north to east to west and wherever in the country. It is very important that we have very, very good infrastructure in the roads.